Yeah, I mean, you know, I always got to shoot for it. I mean, eventually one day I'd love to work in that. It's like, yeah. That's like how.
Oh yeah, I love that. I can't afford the art.
Yeah. It was expensive on the west. Yeah.
37 years. Oh, I ain't.
Somebody
actually don't have a
I'm confused. I'm thinking 7,000 speaker 37. Because I'm one of those names that you just say, registration full of like, I want to play, I don't know, I want to play Cyberpunk 40 my settings.
I mean, come on.
It's cool, but it's like, I'm not going to spend all that money.
I mean, you gotta be credit for at least trying to get at least trying. I mean,
So they're also making VR. It's also doing that to VRs.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait all
I guess
I mean, I was gonna say, it's not even which is incredible.
I heard there was a production problem with
yeah, my teammate running late, and the other guy was
Well,
yeah, I only just bought my VR headset. In the game, right?
Nope, Will's there.
And I kind of sit down and I was like, hey, that's my mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's just really
Yeah, yeah. What is their output?
Everybody's surviving. Good. Trying. Not too bad out there, right? We don't have winter as much as some people. Today we're going to pretty much have a lab day. So with your group, you want to get the Padlet code snippets thing kind of out of your way while you're together, probably. The iPython notebook are notebook for this chapter. We looked at a lot last time. There's a couple of things left. You can work with those on, with your group on those, or you can save those to kind of work on at home, sort of up to you. The chapter 6 review questions, definitely you want to work on those at home. Let's see, let me back up. And then our big thing is this quest. Let's take a look at it. So this is kind of our big project because it doesn't really have any sort of samples or anything for you to work with. You got to find stuff. So I'm going to bring up this document. And I like this assignment because it was pretty much created by a student. So it's just a little bit more challenging because you know as teachers, yes, am I not sharing? Thank you. All right, is that better? Yay. Okay, so for this assignment is not due today, don't worry, it's due next week. So you're just getting started on it. And it might be something that you decide to not work on very much today because we'll have next week on Monday, it's pretty much of a lab day also. So we do have a little bit here piled up. This one can kind of take a little bit longer. And I want you to really consider how you split it up with your group because a lot of times we like to do that divide and conquer strategy. You do this part, you do this part, we'll get this whole thing done. But then he knows this part and you know that part and don't really have an idea of how the whole thing fits together. So you kind of want to stay pretty closely coupled with your group members as you're working through this one. Maybe not do as much divide and conquer strategy on it so that everybody gets an idea of what's going on in all of the different areas. So we're going to start out as a little quest. We're going to ask the player for their character name, and then we're going to generate a number as their lucky number. So we'll show them that, what they picked as their character name and their lucky number so that they know as they move forward. Then we're going to display a little menu and give them a list of options. They can either change where they're searching or find things, and you're going to have to kind of decide how you want to implement that. Now, what they're looking for are some loot items or some treasures. So first of all is a gem. So to generate this gem, it's kind of ASCII art, isn't it? We're going to have to do a little looping there. You don't have to use this exact gem character. You could use some other sort of ASCII art that you want to generate, but do make sure you're using some for loops to output some sort of repeating characters like that so that we're getting some sort of gem picture. Then at some point, we're also going to give them an option to generate a plaque. And the plaque is going to be like their name. And we want their name kind of encased in some special characters here. So we've got to do, and actually you can look at the Prelude to Programming book has a lot of pseudocode and information about algorithms to do this kind of thing. And so does the beginning Python book. So there's some resources for you to look at to get some ideas and samples. Don't try to just start on this plaque type thing without looking at some other samples because you might get kind of off a little bit further than you'd like to be before you can get back on track. You need to have 2 other items that they can choose from. So, you know, it could be other gems or other kinds of things that you think would be good treasures for people to be searching for. We're going to make sure that when they type in an option, we validate it. We know that it's a good option. Any other kinds of things like that you can think of. So notice this one is pretty open-ended, kind of up to you and your group as to how you want it to work, what kind of things you want to happen. What we're trying to do here is make sure that you get some practice with for loops. So don't leave those out. You know, sometimes people are like, well, we figured out this awesome way to do it and we didn't have to have any loops. But then you didn't get to do any practice with the looping, you know. So make sure you're not coming up with such an awesome solution that you don't get to practice doing some loops. Now, I said that there's some samples for that. in your Prelude to Programming book. And I wanted to remind you about the Python book. We bring it up. There it is. Chapter 4. I haven't assigned it, and it's not something that I'll put on a list for you as an assignment, because chapter 4 for you is just kind of like a resource. So it's kind of long, but if you look at it, it talks about for loops. It does kind of a word jumble game. So it has some really, really good sample code in it too. So there are some things in this chapter that could really be helpful for you. So back to our modules. I think I misspoke when I was talking about the Colab notebook. What you should focus on today, your Padlet and your Colab notebook working together. Your chapter 6 review questions are for at home on your own. And then today, if your group has time, you could start thinking about the quest activity. We will work on it pretty much the whole time Monday for your quest, but you can tell there's going to be a few things that you're going to have to do a little research on. So maybe today you want to get your Padlet stuff done and the 2 or 3 little things in the Colab notebook, and then maybe assign people in the group to research certain things. Like if you think somebody needs to try to figure out a little bit about printing out the gem, the ASCII art type pattern, somebody else maybe figure out a little bit about that plaque type thing. So you guys could make assignments like that so that Monday when you come in, you feel like you'd be ready to just hit the ground running and get that project done and get in and out of here. Okay, so that should be, I think, where we are. Any questions? Got it, you guys got it all, okay. I'm just gonna grade and grade. So yell if you need something and I'm not paying attention and I don't see your hand raised. Let me let these other people in. Have a whole bunch of people. All right, so lab time. If anybody from your group is not here, I think we just only have the one that's not here today. Get with him. If you guys want to work from home and do it, that's fine with me too. It's totally up to you guys. If your whole group decides you would rather do this off-site, that's fine. You just won't have the support as much. But I am here. Let me know if you need anything. I'm going to end this Zoom session.